Welcome to the Dating After Divorce podcast. I'm your host, Shade Curry, and I believe every divorced woman deserves a romantic relationship where she feels safe, loved, and cherished. You can create the most amazing life after divorce, and I will teach you how. Hello, friends. Welcome to episode 41. And in this episode, I'm going to catch you up on my holiday updates. So I just took a month off because I got some news just before Thanksgiving of 2021. And it was a twist to my own divorce story. So I was just going to take this episode to update you, let you know where I'm at and what's going on. But before I do, I want to shout out to my client, Melissa. We are looking forward to having her on the podcast sometime in 2022. But I got this lovely text from her first thing on Christmas morning. And I just want to read it to you because it really is an example of what is possible when you are dating after divorce. Melissa has worked with me since September of 2021, so right around 4 months of us working together. And she's a one-on-one client. We have done a deep dive into her thoughts around relationships, and she began dating. And so here's the text that Melissa sent to me on Christmas morning. I woke up on Christmas morning to breakfast, a nature walk, scaling cliff tops, and a swim in the ocean. It was so very special. We have started an exclusive relationship and are talking about what it is that we want short-term and long-term, and we have lots of crossover. I feel so happy and excited and completely at peace knowing I intentionally created this by hiring you and doing what you recommended. Thank you, my coach, and Merry Christmas. You are so welcome, Melissa. You are an ideal client. I have loved working with you, and I know we still have several more months of work to go to get your relationship right down to the place of full commitment. I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy for you, and Merry Christmas to you too. So I just want to encourage all of you listening that the holidays are not a time to feel like, oh, no one wants to, date around the holidays. No one wants to meet anyone around the holidays. No one wants to go exclusive around the holidays. All of those thoughts that we have because we don't have what we want in that moment. What is actually true is that the holidays are the best time to meet someone because people are thinking about their family. They're thinking about the future. They're thinking about their life. They're taking stock. They're creating their vision for the next year. So the kind of man that you are looking for, who is looking for a long-term relationship, who is family-minded, however you define family, who wants true connection, will feel the same things around the holidays. And they are looking too. So I just want to encourage you. Miracles can happen at any moment if you do the work. And Melissa is just such an example of this because she did not know that her timeline was going to be this short. She just got into the process. She did the work. She did the scary things to step out, hire a coach, do the work of stepping out, to start dating. And the man that she was meant to be with was already in her orbit. She just had to say yes to the process and yes to the possibility of meeting him. That said, I do realize that the holidays are also very hard if you've been through a divorce. For many people, our divorces happened right around the holidays, or you're actually going through your own divorce right now. You're in the middle of your divorce. You might have been without your children on Thanksgiving Day. You might be without your children over Christmas. You might be experiencing just the anticipation of some really hard things coming in the new year, maybe around court or around custody or around finances. I mean, there's so much that can happen in a divorce. And I know that the holidays tends to bring that out because the holidays are when we're supposed to be celebrating family. We're supposed to be celebrating everything we've built, and we're supposed to be celebrating the joy of having love and connection in our lives. And I know that when you're divorced, divorcing, having been divorced, the holidays can really bring back some difficult times. And just because the calendar clicks into, you know, November 25th, or it clicks into December 25th, doesn't mean that any grief, anxiety, or even shame that you're experiencing around your divorce, just decide, hey, bye bye, we're gonna give you a break for like a couple of days so that you can enjoy the holidays. That's not the way it works. Your nervous system doesn't work that way. And so I realize that for some of you listening, this might be a very difficult time, or you might just be having a really difficult month, a really difficult 2 months, 3 months, really difficult 6 months. My divorce took multiple years to finalize, and those were very difficult years overall. But I do want to let you know that it ends. There is light at the end of the tunnel, especially if you're doing the work, if you are in therapy, if you are getting coaching, if you are looking and reflecting at yourself, if you are setting new goals, if you are growing and transforming yourself, it really does get better. But it only gets better, not just with time, but with time spent doing the work, going deep, digging those roots, and believing that you're going to come out on the other side. And that's my story, literally. So if I were to go back and I guess give you the background to the story I'm going to tell about what happened this Thanksgiving, is that my ex-husband and I had two biological children together. And then I put we in quotes because generally it was my idea. It was what I wanted to do. Had always been a goal of mine. Adopted 3 children, a sibling group out of the foster care system. And there's a lot of background to how that happened and getting him on board and ways that was also manipulated so that within the marriage. But I won't dredge up all of that. I'll just say that when the divorce was finalized, through a long series of unfortunate events that can happen when you are divorcing a narcissist, he got custody of the 3 younger children, and I retained custody of the 2 older biological children. And so that has created like a really difficult 6 or 7 years now where I have been without the younger children for a lot of the time. They have been through a lot of things, also being away from me, and that has been painful for them as well. But this is the beauty that I want to just bring out. This is the magic. This is the beauty of what can happen when you go on the path and on the journey of transformation. So I started working with a parenting coach. I'm a coach, but I'm a firm believer in the power of coaching itself. So in the summer, I hired a parenting coach to work with me really on the transition for my older 2 children who were going off to college, becoming young adults, and really just teaching me and training me to relate with them in new ways and in more effective ways, not that they were adults, and also just continuing the healing that was going on in our relationship after the divorce. And I also said, hey, you know what? I do have 3 younger children. I haven't seen them in a while. I want to work towards changing that. I want to work towards, maybe going back to court, getting custody. Let's just talk about it. So we did about 4 or 5 months of work together, just talking about it. What would my game plan be? How would I do it? Knowing the nature of my relationship with my ex and the things that had happened and his personality. We were really just strategizing and talking, but we were in no rush. I was in no rush to make anything happen. I was like, okay, gotta approach this in a way that was safe for everyone and in a way that would be effective to do that. And then about 5 days to Thanksgiving of 2021, I got a call about midnight. My notifications are off on my phone at that time, so I did not actually get the call, but a social worker called me at midnight and left me a voicemail saying, hey, we have your kids in custody and you should call us back. And that was shocking to me because, just totally unexpected. Called her back at 10 a.m. on Friday morning when I did see the voice message. And long story short, I now have custody of two of the three children that are with my husband. I won't go into details. I also really don't. I don't like to tell my children's story. I know they will tell their story at some point in their lifetimes, but it's just so powerful to see what can change along the journey, right? Like if you asked me a year ago, okay, how's that going? I'd have been like, well, I don't know. This is painful. This is hard. This is still an unfinished part of my story. And I know for many of you who are divorced, there are many unfinished parts of your story, right? Like there are parts of it that you're like, well, what about this? And this was taken, or I didn't get to keep this, or, how do I recover this part of my life? What I want to say is like, you might not be able to do it right this second, but I want to encourage you to keep working towards everything you want. 100% of everything you want. I have a vision book. I call it a vision book because it's like a little notebook where I have my goals, and I have like what you would put on a vision board. I put in a little book so that it's portable and I can carry it around with me. And I have just impossible things that seem impossible, or even now, things that have happened now that seemed impossible at the time that I wrote them down. I was just willing to believe that it was possible. And that was enough, just to believe that this is possible. It's possible for me to successfully raise my children as a single mom. It is possible for me to meet an amazing person and get married again and be truly happy. It's possible for me to embrace my purpose and start a business and help women. It is possible for me to raise my income and make the amount of money that I truly want to make. Like all of these things that I wrote in my little vision book back in 2015 and 2016, so many of them have happened. Not because I was like strong in the moment and I 100% knew exactly how I was going to make it happen. I was just willing to believe that it was possible. Like when I hired my parenting coach, shout out to Rashida Bond. She's amazing. She's amazing. Like I just love her so much. When I hired her in August of 2021 to help me work through all of this stuff, I just knew it was possible. I knew it was possible to put my family back together. And I knew that I was in a place where I was ready to take some steps toward it. And that was all that I had. That was all I had, was the money to hire the coach and the belief that it was possible to somehow reunite with my younger children. And it's crazy that I didn't even have to take the steps that I thought I would have to take. And this actually dovetails with Melissa's story. And you'll hear more about it when she's on the podcast next year. Next year is next week. She didn't know that it was going to be so easy for her, that she was literally one person away from the man of her dreams. She didn't know that. When she hired me to help her with her relationships, when she did the work, when she put up her profile for the first time, when she took the steps to work through her network, she didn't know that it was going to be that easy, like at that moment. If she had known, she wouldn't have needed me to tell her. She would have just done it. So I just want to encourage you that whether it's in your dating, whether it's in areas of your life after a divorce that you are rebuilding, whether it's even in your emotional health, where you're like, I'm suffering emotionally from so much that happened in the marriage or in the divorce. Maybe it's your self-esteem or your self-confidence or your goals or your vision, a lot of things that may have been taken away or damaged or just hurt, or like you just like, I don't have what I had before. I'm not the person that I was before this divorce. I want to let you know that like it's available to you to recover everything that it feels like you lost, and it is available to you to have so much more. It is available to you to have so much more. And I just want to encourage you to just believe in the possibility. Just believe it. Just believe it's possible. When your brain starts to tell you, well, that won't happen for you, that won't happen for you, that won't happen for you, just ask yourself, but is it possible? Is it possible that it could happen for me? And just open up that door of possibility, open up that door of hope, open up that door of like belief. Even if it's just like a little crack in the doorway, just a little bit of belief, that can be enough to take you where you need to go. So this is the last podcast episode for the year 2021. I want to thank you, all of my listeners, for sticking with me this year, even when I took a break over the holidays. Now you understand why I took the break, because the boys are now home. They're home with us, and it's just going so well. And my husband, Kent, has taken to being a parent of like multiple young people, like a duck to water. He's having the time of his life. And I'm so, so grateful. I'm grateful to you guys for being my podcast listeners, for the notes that you sent, for those of you that have booked calls with me, for those of you that have become clients. I love you all. I'm so grateful for you. For those of you that still have some painful moments going on in your divorce, or you're like in this dating journey, I'm not quite figuring it out yet, I want to say keep going. Keep going. Keep healing, keep fighting. Everything you want is 100% available to you. I love you. Have a happy, happy new year. I hope 2022 brings you love, connection, and everything you dream of. Take care, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks for listening today. If you are ready to get married after divorce, I want to invite you to download my free 8-video training specifically designed to help divorced women date with ease and get married again. Head over to sadecurry.com to get started. That's SADECURRY.com. I'll see you inside.